And the both of us have been toying with the idea of this project for a while, and I think it's become a very prevalent thing now on our minds at the forefront. And we just wanted to share this with you guys, like our new project, which is called Can't Stomach This.
Getting on my tits.
The podcast. Dun dun dun. So the Can't Stomach This is obviously incredibly punny when you realise that my cancer was in my stomach or abdomen or ovary. That's where it stemmed from, but stomach sounds so much better than in my ovary. So Can't Stomach This is mine. That's me. That's to do with me. And Liv?
Because I have breast cancer, it's getting on my tits.
How punny. I mean, so original.
The best. And in many ways, the whole title as well, I think, really like correlates the fact that it's just such an entangled bunch of emotions, and it's just like, I can't stomach this, and this is getting on my tits. I explain what this is all about.
Yeah, so I think both of us felt like we really needed to express ourselves in like on a format that we haven't already done so. And then we just came up with the idea of this podcast.
Like, what else is everyone doing in 2020? A podcast having common is the, what do they call it? The big C.
Not big C. No, not corona. Is it corona or cancer? I mean, like, who knows at this point?
Me and Verity, well, I met Verity
into my DMs.
Because I was recently diagnosed with cancer, and I was just like, what's going on? What's going to happen to me? I need to know. So the guidance of social media and being able to like relate to other people, not relate, but like see what's happening is really good. And Verity's Instagram is just absolutely hilarious. So I don't know if before I messaged you whether I knew that we were actually at the same hospital or not. I'm not sure whether someone mentioned you to me before.
I think I asked you, I think straight away, as soon as a cancer person slides into your DMs, you're like, oh my God, relate, let's be friends. Like, that is literally, you're kin at this point.
TYA do afternoon tea for all the cancer, as I say. But so we all met up in hospital, but you were actually an inpatient and I was outpatient. So I remember rolling up, I think I was like 2 weeks after my first chemo, and I was like,
oh, you hadn't been hit yet.
Blah blah blah. I just turned up, and literally Verity sat there with like head chemo.
I was half dead with my drip that had become my best friend. We had a love-hate relationship, me and that drip. Just sat there, bald head. I think it was like 4 days into my inpatient treatment then, like I was hating life, and then here you were. To be honest, I didn't loathe you entirely for having hair. I think you were just a lovely presence as I was just like nibbling on cake and strawberries.
So shy. I walked in, and there were other kids, like there were other people there with hair. There were people there that had gone through cancer already, I think, as well.
Yeah.
And for me, I was just sat there like, oh my God, I feel awful here with my long hair. And just being like, yeah, this is fine, this is good. And now looking back, I'm thinking if I was in your position, I'd be like, you don't know what's happening yet. You know, 2 months and tell me how fine you feel. And then I remember trying to like be like a little joke and be like, hi Verity, I stalked you on Instagram, nice to meet you. And you're there like, with your eyes.
I mean, I was on so many drugs.
Yeah, that was our first meeting, and then I left, and I was like, oh, it was really nice to see you, and you were like, oh yeah, sorry, I felt really unwell, and I'm like, yeah, bet you did.
Bet you did. It makes me scared.
No, it didn't make me scared as per se, but I don't know, it was a very interesting experience.
I think it's weird as well, like we had very different treatments as well. I was, like I said, hating the inpatient life, and you had radiotherapy as well, which I have no experience of, because anytime they recommended to me, I was like, get away, get as far away from that as possible. And you know that that's not a treatment option you're going to enjoy when even like your consultant is kind of apprehensive and going, yeah, maybe you won't get on with it that well. But we had different treatments, and I know for a fact that people, if they only have outpatient treatment on level 5 in Bristol, they don't actually know what it's like to be on level 6. And when I was first diagnosed, because I was misdiagnosed, we love that for me, no hate, it's fine, we're here now. I just had outpatient chemo. It was like, I thought 9 hours, going into the hospital for 9 hours and having like exploded mountains on my hand from cannulas was horrible. Lo and behold, it was not. And then to go like a year and a half later for inpatient treatment and kind of live that other life of, oh, while I was down there getting to go home every day, there were people up here like stuck in here for weeks. And so, yeah, I have no experience of radiotherapy. So even though we like kind of share the same viewpoint and outlook of just like this, we still have very different experiences.
The treatment's so different, obviously the diagnosis is so different, but also there is so much we relate to each other as well.
I like that.
With this podcast, I think there's so much we need to cover and talk about. And for me, like I said, when I got diagnosed, the main thing is being able to like, oh my god, someone else feels like that. So, you know, talking to you, and then our friendship carry on throughout it all, and we just kind of, you know, caught up with each other and just been like, oh, are you okay? And, you know, lockdown sucks and this sucks, but it's nice because I'm like, we're in the same boat in a way. But yeah, definitely the different treatment. But talking of the inpatient thing, for me, as an outpatient, I've never spent much time in hospital in my life. Well, other than
but neither did I, like growing up either. Like hospital was almost like a taboo. If you went into hospital in primary school and came out with crutches, you were like the hot topic of the playground. Like if you came in with crutches hobbling about, people were like, let me have a go. So like growing up, if you went into hospital, it was like a cool experience. Yeah. What was I thinking?
Me, I was mortified being an outpatient because I was thinking, I want to be in hospital. When I feel unwell because of this chemo, I want like to press a button and the nurse to come in and be like, am I gonna die? Is this okay? Am I supposed to feel like that? You know? And then all the side effects come in as well, don't they? Like my nails fell off and stuff like that.
Nails fell?
Yeah, like it's a very morbid way of describing it, but like imagine how a car bonnet opens, all my nails just glued on by the like bit at the bottom.
Oh my god, mine got brittle, but like, geez. See, that's another thing though, like different side effects.
Different side effects.
Yeah, so I touched on that I was misdiagnosed. I was a young, little, naive child when I was diagnosed. At 17, I think I just literally had the most anxious stage of my life going into sixth form, not knowing what the hell I was going to do. And then my body was just kind of like rejecting every positive thing. And now I put it down to just being like anxious and like having mad anxiety. And now I look back and be like, I was growing a massive tumor. So maybe that was it. So I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. Point blank, that's just what it looked like. I had a massive rugby ball sized tumor, like 25 centimeters on a ruler, coming out of inside my ovary. Like my small little petite ovary had just stretched around
5 centimeters.
My dad looked at it and thought, oh, okay, so that's like that big, because anyone who's ever experienced cancer or just has a vague idea about it just assumes tumors, white little balls. That's all it is. And he kind of looked at the ruler and didn't really get it, and then saw it and went, okay, and then like maybe made the width of a golf ball with his finger and thumb, and I was like, no, that's a ruler, Dad. That's like that's why my stomach was huge. And I went to the doctor. I obviously, you don't ever jump to cancer, and my biggest fear was that I was bloody pregnant. Like I look back now and I'm like, oh, our baby would have been so much easier. And you don't think that at the time, but oh my god, I'd have like a 4-year-old toddler running around, but like fair play, would 100% take that over this. And it just looked like ovarian cancer for all intents and purposes. They did tests, they did everything right as well. Like no hate to my consultant or that team, they looked after me so well. And I went through so many surgeries. And like nurses don't get enough credit as well. My nurses were absolutely amazing, and I've had so many operations since, like in the 3 years, that I've gone back and known the nurses. I've had the same people, and you end up, and it is like a nice little kind of on the ward. I get good people every time I've been in a ward. I've made friends with those people to the point where like my best friend is Denise, and she's like 60 something. And it was just us on the ward, 2 of us at the end of like a 8-bed ward, and like we just got so pally and all the nurses loved us. So it was like a fine experience. It was bearable. And then a year and a half later into my what I thought was remission, turned out I got about 6 months of remission, not much at all. So I was celebrating my year cancer anniversary, made it to 1 year, and that was just a lie. So that messes with your mind a bit. And then they looked back at a scan I had when I had some pain and went into A&E, and they were like, oh yeah, so you did have some tumours on that scan that you had a year ago, like nearly a year ago. And then I had another operation, just massive debulking surgery, thinking, okay, I've got to go through it all again, but I know what it's like. I've had it firsthand, and
worse sometimes, isn't it?
yeah, when you know what to expect, and you know how you're going to feel, and you can't kid yourself anymore, because you can't think, oh, it'll get better. Like, you know, on the days that you're bad, like you said. But yeah, so I went back in for my just checkup after my surgery. That was bad. So I was on my own for that appointment, because I was my surgeon, my consultant, and a nurse. They said, yeah, we misdiagnosed you. You actually don't have ovarian cancer. You have sarcoma. And I knew that when they initially diagnosed me, they said it was carcinoma, not sarcoma. And I don't know whether my head made it up when I said, when I think that they said, oh, you don't want that, like, it's carcinoma, get it right. And they said, yeah, you've got sarcoma, DSRCT. They initially referenced it as like the blue cancer. And I'm like, oh God, that just hit me like a ton of bricks, because they went on to say how much rarer that is, but how it at least fits my makeup a little bit more. Like, genetically, it affects my age group. That like fits me a bit more. Like, ovarian was kind of like, why would you have that? Like, that is rare. So at least I fit that category, but it is horrifically rare. It's horrible because, like, I mean, I was 17 and now I'm 20. And like, that's literally, cancer's been the last 3 years of my life, going from ovarian to sarcoma. And like, I'm still going. It's just you're young, like, yeah. And then you have the good cancer. Let's love that for you. Anyone who ever says the good cancer, but you go and tell that story.
Diagnosed with breast cancer, 27th of December 2019. So I'm just creeping up to the year mark now. I found a lump in my boob, like a big lump, and then I was like, yeah, it's all right. It's just like hormones and whatnot. And I had gained so much weight, that I was like, is this all right? I mean, I love food, but why is my weight not dropping? I went on a diet, calorie deficit. I literally spent like 3 hours in the gym every day, and nothing made the weight shift. So then it made me worry about this lump in my breast. So I kept ringing my doctor's surgery and be like, oh, hello, there's a lump. I'd like to get it checked out. And, you know, they look at my profile, they're like, you're 21. Like, you're healthy otherwise. You've not had any major problems with your health. You're fine. We don't have any appointments available at the moment. So, you know, you'll have to come back. And then I kind of kept putting it off and trying. The start of December, I went to Lithuania, which is where I am originally from.
Lithuanian Liv.
I went to Lithuania to just like visit some family and whatnot, in a private gynecologist clinic. And he said, oh, would you like me to check your breasts? I said, yeah, go for it. I've got this lump here. Do you want to check it? And he did an ultrasound scan on my breast. And all he said to the lady was, did you write that down?
We don't like that. When they want to write stuff down, not good.
He goes, okay, go get dressed and come sit in my office. And I kid you not, this is how it went. He sat me down. For the lump in your breast is very big and very angry looking. So it's cancer. That's 320 euros, please. What?
Just pay. I'll pay you right now for that trauma you've just given me.
I literally pulled my card out, paid, walked out, and I just bawled my eyes out.
Jeez,
like,
how did you do that?
Out of nowhere. I didn't see it coming. I went in, all happy days, just, you know, just having a quick checkup, whatnot. Then the next day flew back to England. and called my GP, and I said, this doctor at this private clinic told me I have breast cancer, so maybe you could see me. So they saw me the same day, and my GP, straight away, my GP was feeling the lump. And then what he hadn't done is she went in my armpit as well and had a good old feel here, because I said the pain goes from my armpit into my breast.
That's your lymph nodes there, isn't it?
She felt the lymph nodes, and she felt a lump there as well. And I was like, oh, this is great. This is amazing.
It's the most action I've had in weeks.
Literally. And yeah, then I got like fast track to the breast clinic in Bristol, and obviously biopsies, scans, and that's where it all kicked off basically. So in the end, they diagnosed me basically stage 2 breast cancer. Treatment was really effective. My tumor shrunk from 4.5 centimeters to 4 millimeters, which is amazing. Fast forward to July, they had radiotherapy, 4 weeks of radiotherapy, which they did on my armpit and on my breast. So yeah, that was like 9 months out of work, 9 months out of normal life. And then on the 27th of August, I did my last radiotherapy, and they're like,
get away.
Fast forward to 2-3 weeks ago now, I started feeling funny. I was like, I'm just overdoing it. I'm just really tired. I've been working. I've been trying to like do all these extra things. Like I just put it all down to like having chemo. Also, this is the side I had surgery on, and I was like, oh, maybe my nerves are like waking up, and you know, it's going a bit funny. And I had overdone it. Like the stuff I've put my body through since finishing treatment, I'm an idiot. I did not rest, and I was just trying to like prove to myself that I'm back to normal and I'm fine and I'm strong and whatnot.
Yeah.
And basically 3 days later, I was told they can see something on my brain, on the right side of my brain, about 2.5 centimeters big. And that's what I'm left with at the moment. Statistically, because of my history so far, because of the way it looks, statistically they think it's the breast cancer metastatizing. Is that the word?
Metastasizing, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the word is, but I'm sure I'll learn it.
At some point.
If I need it, I'll learn it.
As a cancer patient, even when you have a scan and for all intents and purposes it's clear, you can never actually get that peace of mind. It's very hard. This is a sought after thing, peace of mind and that paranoia to go away, but it's rarely ever given to you, like, because you can have a scan and it'll be clear. Like, we've both had clear scans. As soon as you get those scan results, you're like, okay, that's good, I'm clear. And then you think, I was clear on that day and that was a week ago, like, what now? And I feel like that's a very hard place to try and get yourself, and to have that stripped away from you, like, God, it's not a nice feeling.
Well, even with a clear scan, you're like, but what if they miss something? What if?
Yeah, they're not 100%, are they? Like condoms. Nothing's ever 100% in this world. It's crap. There's no other word for it. Like, that paranoia is a whole other topic. But for you not knowing, and then knowing that it might spread to your brain, that I can imagine the anger coming out of you.
That was never even something that crossed my mind.
No.
It's crazy, because I've done so much research about breast scans and whatnot, and I've heard like it could go to your spine, it could go to like somewhere else. I never even thought about the brain, and I'm just like, it's crazy. It's never crossed my mind, literally.
I mean, if you want to freak yourself out, go to Google, guys. That's what you want to do.
Yeah, that's one thing I didn't do this time. I did not Google things.
Stay away.
Googling's not the way. 200% I would recommend messaging someone going through cancer than Googling things.
Our lives day to day are just constantly like warring with our innermost feelings, and then what we're experiencing, and then what's being said to us, and you just can't navigate that easily at all. It's getting deep. Whew.
Isn't it? It's like, fine, right here, right now. So I'm just going to enjoy that. You said as well about your experience, like, you know, I have this home and I'm trying to make it this bubble and just make the most of it. Like,
I was trying to make a little haven for myself, wasn't I? I don't know how naive that was. I think it was a good thing. I still think having a place that I can just relax and be very antisocial and introverted for a while is so good. And with lockdown especially, like everyone being gutted and having like being mad that they can't go out and see their friends, and I'm like, hallelujah, you can all get a bit of what I have every day. Like I have FOMO all the time, and now it's a little bit like, yay, just a little bit of perspective for you guys is great. Like no hate to anyone, you're entitled to feel like your life's been halted, but I think it's necessary to have a bit of perspective. And everyone always says walk a mile in someone else's shoes. And I think perspective is a massive thing. Perspective and empathy and just being nice are 3 things I found are the reasons why I'm still friends with people. There have been a lot of people I've encountered going through this where they've either they've tried to empathize and then they've just not been kind. And it's like you those are the 3 key things that lead to actually like a healthy friendship with someone, where you can be candid, you can talk about the deep, like I know that there are some people I'm friends with that probably would not understand what I'm saying at all. And that's why I'd go to like my cancer pals or my family. And then I have other friends that just let me unload and just cry with me. And sometimes that's what you need. And I think this podcast is going to be a good thing to show those people that are like carers or supporters, like not the correct ways to act, because there is no correct way. Like we said, this is our experience. You always take on like how you should act, but it does give them a little bit of direction of definitely what is not good to do at all. Like there are anything can be good to do, but there are always the bad things that you just should never do under any circumstance with a cancer patient. And saying you've got the good cancer, throwback to that, is bad. Don't say that. That's not helpful.
No. And it's not only like, yeah, I mean, there's literally no right or wrong way, but to be fair, I like, even with you, I don't know still, like, even as a cancer patient, it's just, like, when you get back,
yeah.
I don't want to be like, oh, Verity, I'm so sorry. Oh.
Yeah.
But also I'm like, well, what can I say? Be like, well, yeah, that's what it is. Like,
it's hard to find that balance. And I think in that respect, if you find, if more healthy people with their own going on in the world, but just don't have cancer, you have empathy. You're going through your own struggles. You're hurdling over your own obstacles. But that right there means you should be able to empathize with someone also going through stuff, even if it's different. So if you think about yourself in your non-cancer journey, and someone says to you, oh, that must be so difficult, and does this face, it's like you've been slapped by like a quiche, quoting Joe Lycett there, slapped by a quiche, and you're like, oh, I'm so sorry, that's so difficult for you. That is not productive, that is not proactive, that is just pity.
I agree with you completely on that. Especially like through doing this, it's a shock. And that's why I kind of, the way I dealt with it is like, I want to tell people and then be like, right, I've dealt with my shock, you deal with your shock, and then we can talk. Because it's almost harder to deal with other people's emotions than your own.
Oh, 100%, isn't it? Like, you can't, if someone comes to me and then they're like, oh, I've had friends that cry, and you're like, I'm going to cry with you, that's your friendship. But that I also then have to deal with knowing that what I'm going to talk about is going to make you uncomfortable, because I'm so comfortable with everything that
like, pity is such a difficult emotion to deal with, because you know this is not good, you know this is a shock, but there's something about people going, oh my god, I'm so sorry, it's like, I'm gonna die, like, this is
you think your situation is bad. And I understand what you mean. Pity's a good emotion. It shows that you do care for someone on some level. But what we mean, like you said, is that it's hard for us to process. We've then got to deal with your reaction and process that. So if I'm coming at people saying, yeah, my scan was clear in like July, that was a clear scan, they all go, yay! And you're like, yeah, I'm celebrating, that's good. And I haven't really told many people that my recent scan did show signs of disease, because of how my boyfriend and my mum reacted, because I got told the news that there was signs of cancer lurking about in my lymph nodes, and my lymph nodes were slightly raised. And in my head, I was thinking like, oh my God, that is not the worst news it could have been at all. Like they could have literally said, oh, we can see like sprinkled tumors everywhere. And I know that having 20 tumors in your abdomen is very hard to remove. And it wasn't that news. And I'm thinking, okay, that's not so bad. And then I tell people, like the people I did tell almost reacted in very shocked, like that's bad. And then I was like, oh, is it? And I was I'd already made peace with the fact that it'd come back and I was going to have to do more treatment options and explore those. And then everyone else's reactions towards it just made me internalize this fear of, should I actually be more worried than I am? And like that's exactly what you're experiencing, isn't it? The whole, you're kind of contending with your own emotions, dealing with that inside, and then when other people come at you with saying their own view, you're like, well, oh my God, I had not occurred to me, like, should I actually be more worried than I am? And it just, that's what's not helpful with pity. Like, we get what we're going through, don't then make that worse by just crying on our situation. Like, we've already cried, we've done lots of crying.
Yeah, we cry, and there are bad days, and there are days when we're scared, and there are days when we're, you know, absolutely devastated, but it's just part of the process, just going through it. And I think some people might disagree and be like, well, no, because if you don't allow, like, if you're not feeling scared, or you're not allowing these emotions to come up, you're like, I don't know, lying to yourself or whatever. But it's not. I've felt the emotions. I was scared, I was shocked, I was that, but in this moment in time, I'm happy.
So don't ruin that, don't take away my sanctuary of mind.
I'm really happy right now, and that's what I'm holding on to. Like, there'll be bad days, yes, there will be, but like, send me like love, send me positivity, like good thoughts. And I said, I hope this, like, you know, I hope this changes something in your mind.
Life is finite. I think that is a prevalent thing. When you have cancer, you think life is finite, you got one life, and it scares you, but it, like, everyone talks about the appreciation of life once you stare death in the face. But it does, like, it is true, it's not like you appreciate life more, like some people might, but I think what you do is you just realize, no, yeah, life is finite, and then you realize that. Because I think growing up, going through all these different stages of life, definitely watching people on social media go about their business, you forget that life does have a limit. It is limited. We're not immortal.
And I think, like, we are both lucky to be able to realize that at such a young age, because I think a lot of people don't. And you read about this all the time. Like, there's so many quotes, there's so many people saying this, and it's just so like, yeah, all right, like, easy for you to say your life's perfect, but no one's life is perfect. Everyone's got shit going on in their lives. Everyone's got problems, and people are affected different by it. And we're not in a position at all to be like, your situation isn't as bad as mine. But I think, like, it's like, I just really wish people would realize, like, just take the day now as it is and just make the most of it.
Seize the day. Is that carpe diem? Carpe diem, the of your life, guys.
I don't think we'd be here today if it weren't for our sense of humor during
Oh my God, that's the thing though, isn't it? It encompasses, like you said, all of this, like, I can't do it, like, what do I do? And then also with just that satirical humor. Love that.
Laugh about it.
Everything's got to be threaded with humor. That's the way you cope. Oh my God, such a massive coping mechanism. It's just taking the, like, mick the whole time, and everyone just watching you going like, oh my God, what, you're joking about death? Are you okay? You're joking about death though, that's not okay. And I'm like, me and death are pals. We're like that.
Yeah, for sure, I agree completely. Like, humor, honestly, if you don't laugh,
you're gonna cry, and we've done enough crying.
Cried at the same time, and you know, it's been the best thing for me, like, and I think meeting you has been a best thing as well, like, because your sense of humor regarding cancer is amazing.
Oh, thank you so much. Again, this project is going to be such a cathartic thing for us. This podcast is a good thing, good outlet for our minds to just release all the crap that we've been holding up.
I hope we can, like, reach to other communities and people and young people going through cancer through this, and we can, I don't know, just have our own little space for everyone to just come together. That's the, like, power of it nowadays, isn't it?
Those cancer kids, we see you. come and join, come and relate. This is a safe space.
But yeah, so at the moment we're still working in the background. We did not realize how much work there is to do to start a podcast, and that it costs money to upload it on the internet. So
like, we're poor, we're unemployed, we're on benefits.
British passport next.
All jokes aside, she belongs here.
I belong here. I belong here. I'm fine. I'm good. So yeah, so we're still working in the background trying to set up this podcast, but we're just so excited that we actually thought, do you know what? Let's sit down, let's film a video, and let's post it, and let's see what people think, and if people
on you, like, you guys, you've got to love this. Don't hate it, please. We'll cry inside.
Any support, any questions, any ideas, anything from you guys.
Slide into our DMs.
Slide into our DMs. I will link my Instagram.
Just gonna plug myself here.
We hope you are enjoying. You enjoyed listening to our rambles.
Monologues coming out to the world.
Oh, this is so nice. I feel $1 million right now.
Pounds, hun. You're in Britain.
Got the wrong country again. Thank you everyone for watching and listening and whatnot. Please like, share and subscribe
to our channel. And by that we just mean watch it and then go about your day, please.
Yeah. But no, if you could share, I think if people could share with other people that they know that are going through cancer, I think this would be great, because we'd love to hear from people and just see what ideas come through. And you know, in the future, once this malarkey's over, maybe we can have other people talking to us and spreading the word even more.
Yeah, I mean, this is a whole, the aim of this is definitely to raise awareness. As much as it is for a cathartic release for us, we want to raise awareness. We want people to relate. We want this to be a thing that people can kind of be like, oh my God, I'm seen, I'm heard. That is how I feel. Or not feel. You can completely disagree with us entirely, but it's just another avenue for people to kind of come and be like, okay, I'm educated, I'm now aware, and I feel the same.
Yeah.
So yeah.
In this time and age, like literally so much information is available at fingertips. I think there's something to be said about hearing it from like straight from the horse's mouth, if you like. Verity looks so similar. I said to Verity, I'm like a bloated foreign version of you.
Steroids, man, not a fan.
Roids.
Oh, thanks for listening, guys. Really appreciate it.
And hopefully see you again soon. Bye.
Bye.